Tomorrow is the official National Coming Out Day, and we're not going to talk about LGBT issues today. I was going to, but we're going to talk about something else. But we will week after next.
Yo, by the way, next week is probably the greatest 2 classes that you'll ever see in all of college. I personally think that.
Tuesday, for sure. Tuesday will be the coolest class. Tuesday will be the second coolest class I've ever taught in my life. Next Tuesday. No, I'm serious. Dudes, hang on. Get a close-up on my face. I promise you, Tuesday will be the second coolest class I ever taught in my life. And if you ever thought, like, hey, there's a time you want to bring someone to class, bring them on Tuesday. Trust me, man. Awesome class. You will leave class very happy that you were here. Okay. I want to just say something about Coming Out Day. First off, we're going to talk about LGBT or queer issues week after next, because there's a lot of stuff I really want to talk about. But I just want to say something about this. So every year in October, there's a Coming Out Day, and it's always been a big deal. And it's edgy. It's always been an edgy thing because, if you're gay, lesbian, or bi, or trans, or any, if you identify in any way other than straight, to stand up on the steps. It used to be Schwab Auditorium. Then it was Old Main. So when I came here in 1991, it was in Schwab. And the reason, so people would have a small rally, and then one by one, people who wanted to come out would come out. And it's really a big deal because unlike the other day with Tim, right? When Tim came out to the class and you all cheered, that did not happen, man. Almost nobody would come out in a class this size. It was rare that anybody would ever do that. And they were already out, and they were already an activist, and they were already engaged. Like, nobody was going to do that. And it was such a big... When I had a student in class, and when Swiss 118 was much smaller, and I would have a student in class, and maybe it was, my first semester teaching, it was like the size of this front area right here. And I remember, it was, I think, my second semester, and somebody came out and said, hey, I'm gay. It was just, there were so many students who later would tell that person on the side, wow, you're so brave. I can't believe you did that. Like, you were so brave. Oh my God. It's just such a big deal, right? Now, so the Coming Out Day was a major day because it gave people an opportunity in some ways to stand up and find a community. And it was in front of Schwab because Gary was across from Schwab Auditorium. So on that day, there would be 300 or 400 people gathered around Gary and 400 or 500 people gathered around the steps of Schwab. And it was just this endless back and forth because people gathered around Gary were people who were rejecting the people standing on the steps of Schwab and openly and just feeling really comfortable and confident to just be saying, you are going to hell. Like, this is horrific, this is terrible. That doesn't really happen. And even if you think that, mostly you're just not going to do that because we live in different times. And vast majority of you don't think that. And so eventually they moved the coming out experience over to Old Main because it got away from Gary and things were getting really, really raucous. And then just I watched as year by year by year, fewer and fewer people showed up because it's almost like no big deal. It's whatever. And so this year there isn't even anything happening on the steps of. It's almost like a non-issue, and that in some ways is evidence, or it just says something about the progress we've made as a society. And you could say, well, there's more progress we need to make. But look, it as you're looking forward, and this is true with race relations, as you're looking forward to where you think we need to go, whatever it is, right? You also have to look backwards and see how far we've come. Because I can tell you that it is just a fundamentally different environment, not just here at Penn State, but really across the board. And so I miss that in some ways because it was always so intense. I mean, I don't miss it. I'm really happy to be where we are, and I'm happy to see the ways in which people have been accepted for different perspectives. I'd like to see more people accepted for their ideological perspectives. That we could stand up, for example, and say you support Trump and not get booed or something, right? But I actually have someone say, "Hey, why is that?" But it's really nice to see that we've moved forward in our perspectives. But there's a part of me that when I always went to coming out because I never knew which students of mine would be there, and then of course who would come out, and then just be able to offer support and so on. And yeah, it was cool. It was really intense. I want to say that as part of the process, right? Just imagine. Just imagine being in the closet and feeling like you need to stay in the closet. As some of you are in the closet, but many fewer of you are in the closet, right? But I outed you, bro. So.
Yep. But off of what you said yesterday, you said that if you don't come out like during coming out day, when are you going to ever come out? It's okay to stay in the closet. Like, take your time.
Yeah,
There's a lot
exactly.
of you who are questioning, maybe not in this room, but maybe whoever's watching, but like you're questioning or you're thinking, and you might be one thing, you might be another. It's always going. Sexuality is so fluid and confusing, dude.
Or maybe you just want to try something out. You know what I mean? It's cool. Give it a try. You never know.
Just don't do it when you're drunk.
Yeah, don't do it when you're drunk, man. That doesn't count. Like trying it out when you're drunk doesn't count, right? So that's just kind of like, okay, got it. I don't know. I have this idea that I just feel like I don't know every man's body, but on average, I know a man's body better than a woman does. So I could probably give a lot more pleasure to a guy than a woman could. So, dude, I'm just saying, right? Women, look, and women don't even start. Let's not even go to women not be feeling pleasure from straight women not feeling pleasured from straight guys who have no idea about sex whatsoever. Please. That's just a given, but, Okay.
We'll talk about that later.
All right, man. But listen, today, today I want to talk about hair. And, what's that? And so this happened, right? So if you don't know the story, and you should read it at some point, I'm not gonna tell. I don't want to tell the story. It doesn't really matter. That's one of the Penn State football players. A couple of alumni, a gentleman and his wife, who are alumni. I think they're from Johnstown or something. Not far from here. Not particularly probably whatever. So they wrote a letter to him saying, "Listen, man, your hair. I'm sure you're a nice guy." I mean, I'm just going to paraphrase it. I don't need to go. I don't want to. The logistics of this kind of thing, and some of what we're going to talk about, is what the kinds of things you need to talk about in your groups. So I don't want to dig into it here, although we're going to have a big conversation. But essentially saying, just kind of calling him out, saying that his hair, wearing his hair in that way, was not worthy of being kind of a gentleman and a scholar and an athlete and representing Penn State, and they didn't feel like he's really representing Penn State and so on. Again, you have to read it on your own. But so then some of the other players kind of tweeted it out and put it out there, and then it just became this national and in fact international news because a couple of my colleagues in other countries sent something about it to me. So 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 there's a lot of conversation, and then the coach, Coach Franklin, made a comment. Other people made a comment, and so I was thinking really, again, not digging into the specifics of this, but really digging into the politics of hair. And I thought, well, why don't we talk about that? Because that's very much related to this class. And then I started thinking, well, I went back to last summer, and this headline that I saw, that California was the first state in the U.S. to ban discrimination based on hair. And then I thought, wow, because I've been watching this over the years, and I've been watching various cases go through the courts about hair discrimination or in different ways, and people losing their jobs, or people being kicked out of school, or being sent home from school, all sorts of things, which, I'll give you a couple stories. But and then more recently, New York was the second state to ban discrimination based on hair. And it's like, what's this about hair? And many of us are probably not really thinking about hair. And if I asked all of us one by one to come to the front and give you a microphone and say, tell me what this issue is about, I would bet that many of us haven't really thought about it, because we don't think about hair in that kind of way, right? It's just not what it is. And so then I just dug through some headlines, and I want to kind of disentangle this a little bit, because there's a sociological component and a biological component. So it kind of goes with the conversation we had the other day. It's sociobiology. And by the way, I have a response to you. Well, I'll give you after class. And I knew it was my response, but I just couldn't really say it the other day. It's about the connection between sociology and biology, or sociology meaning culture and biology, and our genetics, and then the things that we're born with and the things that we choose. And so I was looking at a couple things, and I say, well, there's always kind of prescriptions for how people should be in the world, right? And there's kind of there are kind of women's, here's business or business casual, and here's for men, and kind of business or semi-formal or something. And I was thinking, well, yep. As far as I know, I don't know the legality of this, but I'm not sure there are any kind of lawsuits based on people getting fired because they're unwilling to dress in a certain way, and their businesses fire them because they say, listen, you just can't wear jeans to work. You got to be. We're a bank. You know what I mean? You can't wear jeans and so on, and so all these kinds of things that happen, and so. But this is a little bit different story here with hair, and so. So here, here's one. So this young black girl, this is pretty common, actually. A girl sent home from school over hair extensions, right? So we're going to talk about extensions in a little bit, but okay, well, hang on. So there's a cultural component. I'm going to do kind of the Socratic thing here a little bit, and I'm just going to seed some ideas so we can, you can take them into your discussion group. But okay, so extensions. All right, so that's something you add to your hair. All right, so you could be cultural, but how cultural? How far back does it go? What are we talking about culture? Are we talking about your religion? Are we talking about just, your community, and then what's your community? All right, but hang on, but let's just sit down for a second. So, you could, all right, if I had a school, I wouldn't be sending kids home for extensions or how they dress. I mean, look at me, I'm teaching in a t-shirt. But I'm only teaching a t-shirt because I had another shirt on. I had a big stain on it. This somebody pointed out to me, and I had to grab an old t-shirt. But then here's this white girl that got sent home from school for her hair being too red. So all right, so she made a choice. Here somebody made some kind of choice to put extensions in her hair, and you could make lots of arguments about whether she still should be allowed to have extensions. And she made a choice, or someone made a choice about dyeing her hair red and it's a particular color, and the school said, nah, you can't be that color. Okay, I got that. But then look at this one. This girl in Japan sued her school for forcing her to dye her hair black. But the issue, her natural hair was brown. And the school said, no, you can't have your natural hair. Her natural hair is brown. They made her dye it black. And she said, I'm not dyeing it black. This is my natural hair. You can't force me to dye my hair. And so she sued the school, and of course she won. And of course, that would happen in the United States, right? If a school forced someone to dye their hair, you say, this is not my natural hair color. So that wouldn't go very far in the courts. I mean, this would never make it up to like the Supreme Court or something. That case would just get tossed out very quickly. But then here's this black news anchor who got fired for wearing unprofessional they call it, hair. Well, what's her unprofessional hair? Her unprofessional hair was her natural hair. So we're looking at nearly 300,000 years of human evolution and Homo sapiens. And genetics being passed on from one ancestor to another, to another, to another. For many, many, many generations. And genetics creating different looks that we have. And in her particular case, genetics creating a particular hair texture. And she wears her hair naturally, right? And then her place of employment, so she was a reporter, a news anchor, her place of employment says, nah, we're not going to go with that. We're not going to go with, 300,000 years of evolution, so to speak. What we want you to do is straighten your hair. So she used to straighten her hair, and that's what she looked like when she got the job, and for many years, or years in the job, I don't know how many years she worked for it, and this is what she looked like here after she decided, you know what, I'm tired, really, and again, I want to talk about this a little bit, but I'm tired of doing everything that I need to do in order to straighten my hair. I no longer want to do the work of that. I don't want to put the chemicals in my hair. I don't want to go through the entire process. It just feels unnatural. What I really would like to do would be me. Just be me. And so the question then becomes, always there's a dominant group in every society, and the dominant group sets the tone, sets the standards for however other people should be. Whatever that dominant group is. In Japan, it was people who have black hair. And so people said, no, you're going to follow everybody else, and you're going to, even if it's your natural color, we're going to demand that you have black hair. And so somebody else is setting the tone and setting the standard. And so the question becomes, A, where does an acceptable standard of being able to set whatever that standard is end? And when does discrimination begin? Because always you could say, wow, okay, so hang on a second. If this is her natural hair, which she has pulled back, so it's her natural hair. She wakes up in the morning. Let's say she takes a shower. She waits however long she needs to wait for it to dry. However long, right? So she wakes up at 3 in the morning or 5 in the morning. God knows, I have no idea, right? She waits however long, and then she lets her hair go. So at what point do we start walking into this world of like, hang on, we got a problem? And so the courts, in at least in 2 states and many, many cities across the United States, have decided, you know what? Actually, it's a problem to tell somebody that their natural way of being, like how different is that than telling someone who has an epicanthic eye fold that, you know what? Your eyes are just a little bit too problematic, too narrow, to whatever it is, to that fold right there. Remember we talked about it? It's like, we just don't really like that in our workplace, and you really need to do something about that. So maybe you can put little clips in the corner of your eye to get rid of that. You can do whatever. Maybe you have surgery, I have no idea, but something. When does that start, and when does that begin to be a problem? So this takes us then to the Penn State football player. It's like, okay, look, when Joe Paterno was here, Joe Paterno had a really for those who don't know, Joe Paterno was the football coach at Penn State for many, many years. He had a very strict dress code policy. And it was like, nah, this is the policy, and this is how we operate, and this is what you're going to look like. That's not in place anymore. So if that is the case, then if someone allowing themselves to be who they are, like, for example, it might be akin to telling white players or white students, listen, you're out in the sun so much. I know it's natural for you. Just like, hey, it's natural for you. Just let your hair grow and not get a haircut. Well, it's also natural for you to get tan, get a little bit darker in the summertime when you get some sun. You really need to make sure you put suntan lotion on that, because that's just a problem. You can't allow your skin to do what your skin naturally does. You can't allow your hair to do what your hair naturally does. We can go in lots and lots of different directions on this. But I'm just going to leave that right there for you all to talk about in your groups. What I want to talk about is hair. And I just want to have an open conversation about hair. And I'd like to bring some people up who can talk about hair, and I'd like to have people I want to talk about good hair, and I want to talk about bad hair. And in the talking about good hair and bad hair, I just want to talk about different perceptions in different communities about how we think about hair. So we're going to do 2 case studies today. One, this is the first one, and the second one is going to be with a different group of students. So I need some volunteers. And it's going to be best for whatever reason, if it's women, probably mostly, because most men don't think a lot about hair, but you could make an argument that you do. And what I'd like to do is, I need someone what's up, dog? Dude. All right. What's happening? Dude, there's a hair bean right there, man. All right. So, I need some volunteers. So I need someone who's white. I need someone who's black. You want to do the hair? And I need someone who hang on though, before you volunteer. You need to have opinions about it and thoughts about it, and be really willing to talk and tell some story and talk about how it is and what it is. So you're ready? All right, come on. I need someone who's Indian, or she's going to represent. I need someone who's white, and you got it. Come on, man. You're perfect. All right. And I need someone who's East Asian, and someone ideally from the subcontinent, Indian subcontinent. It'd be nice to just bring. Is that you? Kashmir? Do you feel like you got things to say? Not problems, just about how hair is seen in your culture. You want to do it? And then I need someone who's East Asian. Like, you want to do it? You got it? Oh, awesome. And then here's where we're at. You can stand. You're going to be here for a little bit, so you might want to just sit. Okay, so there's this, and here's this. You can sit on the table, or you can stand. Okay, so first off, here's what we're gonna do. I really want to have an educational conversation. Okay, it's educational. So I want all of us to learn some things about hair and hair in our cultures, right? So just say your name and where you're from, and then we'll go from there.
Hi, I'm Riley. I'm from China, in the southern part of China.
I'm Mia. I'm from Cherry Hill, New Jersey.
I'm Mara, and I'm from Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh.
I'm O'Sheen. I'm from Edison, New Jersey.
Edison, New Jersey, and your family is from Kashmir?
Yeah.
Okay. So can I assume you're Muslim?
No.
You're not Muslim?
No, I'm a Hindu.
You're Hindu?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So tell me about hair. Let's go. Like, who wants to start? Like, hair, this thing, your culture. Like, tell me about it. What's good hair? What's bad hair? We can start right there. Good hair, bad hair.
So, I mean, should I just talk about like
Whatever you want.
Okay, so when I was younger, my like perception of good hair was to be straight, and that's just because I went to a predominantly white high school, middle school, so everybody around me had straight hair, and there was very little representation of natural hair. So I learned
natural hair. So define. So here's what's going to happen, y'all,
okay,
right?
yeah.
I'm going to just I'm going to stop and I'm going to ask you to define certain things because I
Okay.
know that there's what do you mean natural hair?
Hair that looked like mine.
Okay.
So I would always straighten my hair, and then I ended up burning out almost half of my hair. So there would be hair that was this long, there would be little pieces like this, and I just came to the realization, I was like, why am I straightening my hair? Like, who am I trying to get approval from for straight hair? So then I literally just started wearing my curly hair all the time. Everyone was like, oh my gosh, like, how'd you get your hair like that? And I'm like, I wet it. Like,
Wait, so tell us how you straighten your hair. What do you do, and how long does it take, and how often do you do it? And one thing so imagine, like, dude, do you know how she straightens her hair, bro? Do you have any idea? This guy right here, the hat guy, has not a single iota of an understanding. So so you, instead of having, so walk us through.
okay, I literally just had my hair straightened yesterday, so.
Wait, so that is straight.
No, this is curly.
Okay, so
so
go ahead.
I washed it this morning, and now it looks like this.
Got you, all right.
But when I straighten my hair, I usually wash it, condition it, blow dry it, and then I separate it into 4 parts, and I just get a flat iron, 410 degrees, just comb comb through, straighten.
How long does it take?
If I'm taking my time, an hour. If I'm rushing, like 45 minutes.
Okay, so then you did. So we're just going to stay with you for a second, right?
Mm-hmm.
So tell us about the chemicals. So you never used any chemicals to.
So when I was younger. When I was younger, my mom used to put relaxer in my hair, which would make it.
Wait. All right, hang on. What's that? Yo, what's that?
So
Why is that?
relaxer is a chemical like spread stuff that like every little black girl knows, and it gets put in your hair, and you have to put grease or Vaseline around your headline or whatever so that you don't get burned. But it basically straightens your hair for you, and then it'll stay straight for like about a week or 2, and then your curls will start to revert back in. So yeah.
And then you put it on again.
Yeah, and then
quickly,
you would put it on again, but it like damages your hair because it's chemicals. So I stopped using that a long time ago, but I still know people who are older who still use
still rocking the
relaxers,
relaxer.
yeah.
Okay. So do you want to? Should we? Can we just keep? Look, can I just say? I just want to say something. I'm not like I'm gonna ask a lot of really simple questions because I know people have simple questions. Because I know that's what questions people have, right? So therefore, when you put the relaxer in your hair, how do you get it out of? Let's say you want to get it out. How do you get it out? Like this, when I look at the woman, the news reporter, I'm like, yo, man, that's a huge project.
Yeah, so you put the relaxer in your hair, and I don't know how long it has to be in your hair for, but it's in there for a hot minute. And then that stuff can't get on your skin, so it's not like you could just go in the shower and just wash it off, because then you just burn your entire body with the product. So my mom puts my head over the sink and then washes it out that way, and then I'll dry it, yeah.
Dang. Okay. All right, cool. Does anyone want to add anything to that? Wait, what's your name again?
Mia.
Mia? So just what Mia was talking about. Anyone want to add anything to that? Yeah, man. Hold on. It's all about hair, dude. That blue in your hair is genetic, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Second up. But my parents own a hair salon,
Yep.
and they color my hair. And I mean, the longer you put the relaxer in there, the more it gets like less textured and more flat. But can I ask a question?
Yep.
So I was gonna ask, you know, I don't know. I was gonna ask. I forgot. Sorry. Sorry. I mean, like, if someone is like that looks similar to you, wears their hair different than how you wear it, is it weird? Like, I mean, I'm black and I wear my hair different than most black males, and they have an opinion. But I was just gonna ask, do you guys have an opinion on people that look like you wearing the different type of hairstyle?
You're asking everybody up there?
Yeah. I mean,
Not
they could all
me.
answer it.
Yeah. Okay. Hang on. Let's get to that now. Let's get to that. Let's come back. Let's go to the next person, and then we'll come back. All right. So let's go. Yeah. Yep. So tell me about hair. What's like in your? So you're from China.
Yeah.
What's good hair in China?
Your hair has to be black.
Has to be black.
Yeah. So black hair means healthy.
Black
If
hair
you-
means healthy.
Yeah, if your hair is like brown or like kind of yellow tone, so they say, oh, you must eat some junk food all the time. So it means, oh, you just like not hair healthy.
So in the case of the young girl in Japan, is that the similar kind of thing? The idea that is it like fitting? She needed to dye her hair black to fit in. Do you think, or she needed to dye her hair black because they thought it was unhealthy if it wasn't black?
I mean, like for some schools, they would just like ask you to do a lot of things to make the students all look the same. Just
to be
Yeah.
yeah.
For like regulation or something like that.
Yep. So what's bad hair then? Besides the color, like what's bad hair? Like do you have good hair?
I mean, I started to care for my hair from this semester because I just bleached my hair and done my hair like last semester, and it's like badly damaged my hair.
To bleach it?
Yeah, it's just like my hair becomes so dry because like you just like bleach your hair, right? So your hair would just like be so dried out, and the ends of the hair would just like the brand. Yeah, it's badly damaged. So you have to just like cut them.
Okay, so what did people back home say when you bleached your hair? Or what did other Chinese students say?
Oh, my mom was so angry at my like colorful hair. She said, if you don't dye your hair into black, you can't go home. So, yeah. But actually, like last semester, in the end of the last semester, I still had my blue hair.
Blue hair?
Yeah. So I just like brought my blue hair in my home. My mom didn't get angry at me actually. So she said, "Oh, you actually looks pretty nice."
Oh,
I say,
cool.
"Thank you, mom."
See, you break them down, man. Break them down. Next time you go and make it red, white, and blue hair. That'll go over really well. The big T in the
just
back.
like different colors.
Yeah, okay. So what's bad hair in China?
Okay, so my mom say, you can't just like bleach your hair because like the chemical thing would just like get you cancer.
What does?
My mom thought the chemical thing would just like get cancer.
Give you cancer, right? Okay.
Yeah, because she just got a friend whose like mom just get a cancer because like she just like frequently dyeing her hair. So my mom just said, if you dye your hair again, you'll just like get cancer.
So how about like wavy versus straight hair?
Straight, definitely for straight hair. People just like love straight hair. But my hair is like more natural, kind of curly. So
wait, so the curls in the bottom, that's natural, or you
Yeah.
did that with a curling iron?
yeah, I just washed my hair yesterday, and my hair just after my hair's dry, it just like become this way.
Got you. All right, now. So good hair is
Straight,
straight
black, and not dry.
and what?
It's not dry, not so dry here.
Not dry. Like, okay, so you don't want it too dry, right? You want it to have a nice.
Like kind of shiny.
Okay. Yep. Got you. And how important is? Yo, hang on. How important is hair for as part of someone's overall presence? How important is hair compared to other parts of people's bodies?
Actually, there are so many funny ads in in TV, like for some hair products. If you have a nice long black hair and it's not dry and it looks soft, and there's an ad. It's for a hair product. It's a girl. She just like left the bus, and her hair just like blew out, and a guy just like touched her hair, and the guy just have a crush on her.
Oh, just from the hair.
Yeah.
Just from like the hair blows, he touches it, he has a crush
it's
on
soft.
it. Yeah,
It's
got
too
you.
weird.
All right. So hair's big.
Yeah, it's a big thing.
Yeah. All right, man. So good. What's good hair? Think about for white people, what's good hair?
Oh, well, my hair would be bad hair. I like the storyline you had where it was like the girl got in trouble for dyeing her hair too red. That was me in high school. We were only allowed to have natural colors, so I dyed it as red as I could until I got yelled at. And then I had to take it back to brown. So like with private school and stuff, like you're not allowed to have colored hair. So as soon as I got out of it, I went for this. I think straight hair is also good hair. My hair is wavy. I straighten it a lot. Healthy hair, like Riley said, the damage is like not good.
So you said though, I said, what's good and bad hair? What's good? So what's good hair for just white? Imagine you're like talking to people who really don't what's your name again? Riley? Yeah. Imagine you're talking to Riley. You're talking to China. Like, okay, what's good hair for white Americans?
To Chinese people?
Yeah, you're going to teach Chinese people.
When I went to China, I went to China on like a school trip, and I had really long blonde hair, and they like all stopped to take photos. Also, because I'm really tall, they were like, "Can we take photos with you?" And they would touch your hair without asking.
Yeah,
they really.
Is that true? Y'all touch your hair without asking?
Yeah, they do it.
I know. Yeah. All right, so go ahead. Right?
No, yeah, like when I was in China and I had long blonde hair, like everyone would be like, "Can I take a picture with you? Can I touch your hair?" Or they'd just touch it.
Yeah,
Well,
my
why is that?
my mom would just be so hyped up if she saw any girl with a blonde hair. She would just say, "Oh, such a like beauty" or something like that.
But she doesn't want you to have blonde hair, though.
I don't know.
All right. Just saying. Okay, but your mom would do that. All right.
Yeah, no, it's weird. There were girls in the group that just had like long black hair and were obviously like white and from America. Like if they knew we were from America and heard us talking immediately, they'd be like, "Can we take photos with you, talk to you?" But like me and this one other girl had super long blonde hair, and they were just like, they cared about us and wanted to touch it and take photos with it, and it was interesting.
What makes bad hair for someone who's white? What's bad hair?
I feel like poorly colored hair, like obnoxious colored hair, you can get judged a lot for that if you have messed up hair. Or like not messed up, but like I feel like a lot of people, like my grandma, like as soon as she saw my hair, I was like, "You like it?" And she's like, "I like your outfit today," but like wouldn't comment on the hair because she hated it. So like they judge you for that, especially.
What about like the thinning hair, thick hair? Like
I feel like having thick hair is normally like better for white people. I don't know, because I feel like still white people use a lot of heat on their hair too. So like thicker hair is like easier to straighten and stuff, less damage.
Dude, is that true in the black community? Thick hair versus thinner hair. Thick hair, you got more you got to work with. Like, what do you want? Thick hair or thinner hair?
I mean,
wait, use the mic.
Oh, sorry. It's not about thin or thick. I think in the black community, I guess it's about length.
Yep.
Because like, I don't know. I feel like people like my roommate has shorter, curly, more kinky hair than I do. And she always tells me, like, "I wish I had your hair." And I'm like, no, like, we're both black. We both have curly hair. Like, it's just ideal to have maybe longer, loose curls the black community. But
so that's something that people have bought into.
Thick and thinness doesn't really, like, affect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same with you? You would agree?
It's really important to have the Sikh hair in China in
Thick
recent
hair.
years.
Yeah.
Because like there's just like some memes like, oh, I'm losing my hair. I'm so stressed out. I'm losing my hair. My hair is so thin right now. I'm getting older. It's a meme in China recent years. And like if you have a thinner hair and your forehand will just like I don't know what's that called, the line of the forehand.
Yeah.
You're just like getting behind.
Yeah.
It's just like the people in
Like mine.
yeah. It
That
just
means you're getting old.
yeah, people care that a lot recent
Got
years. Yeah.
Hey, so okay, man. So you seem like you have thick hair.
Yeah, I mean, it used to be thicker, but it's like gotten kind of less over time.
Okay,
I guess.
so in your culture, like what's good hair, bad hair, like what?
Yeah, I feel like it's kind of similar to like, I guess, Chinese culture, like really thick, long, luscious, shiny, sleek hair. That's like shown a lot in the advertisements for like Indian people's hair. Just like really just like luscious hair, just like super long and like kind of honestly unrealistic. Like if you have super long hair, it's kind of hard to have it like so sleek all the time and stuff like that. Like just like not frizzy at all.
Wait, so you don't
like,
want
dark hair.
frizzy, you don't want it too curly at all.
Exactly. Like so like pretty straight and like sleek hair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then what do you? So is your hair dyed? Is it colored?
Yeah, so I like dyed the bottom half of my hair.
So, and what color is the ideal hair for?
I don't know if there's like an ideal color, but I feel like just people tend to have like darker colored hair. Like I guess just like a brown, like a dark brown, I feel like is what I see mostly in people, like in Indian girls.
Are people always trying to have like blonde hair or light hair? What is that?
Yeah, I guess like I don't know. I feel like people sometimes like want it to be lighter, just because I feel like
Because being lighter means what?
I don't know. I just think the whole like community in general has that whole like fair and lovely thing in India like going on. A lot of times like you're grown up that like, oh, you shouldn't have like dark skin or you shouldn't have like dark hair. I don't know. It's just kind of like you should be like lighter and stuff like that. That's just like a whole thing that's gone on there for so long that I think people are subconsciously like don't like having like that dark hair or like dark skin and stuff like that.
Does anybody have any questions for anybody else? Does anybody have any questions? Yes, ma'am. Here.
For me, because I know that like I have like coily hair like how you have, but I wear wigs. So do you wear wigs or do you like wear weaves and stuff?
So I've worn a weave once, and that was for prom because I wanted to do like a side like bun, but my hair wasn't long enough to get like that full big bun, so I put a sew-in weave in. But that was the only time I've ever put any extra hair on my head.
Do you know what a weave is? Yeah. Do you know what a weave is? You know what a weave is? All right. Not everyone knows what a weave is. Can you?
Weaves are
Wait,
like.
can you put her right?
Weaves are like wigs and stuff. Is like. It's mine because I paid for it, but like it's not mine because it didn't come out my hair. So like.
Wait. Well, hang on this for a second. So tell us about your hair.
So like this.
Yeah, right there, Mom. Tell the class about your hair.
This is my hair because I bought it, but it didn't grow out my scalp. So like this is like Brazilian hair. It's a wig because I don't like wearing like my natural hair out like different times of the year because it's like I don't like the sun and like how it gets my hair like really dry and brittle. So like more towards like the winter time or like when it gets really cold, I wear my natural hair out because it's a little easier to like maintain my hair. And like I try not to straighten it as much and like do more like protective styles because just like you, I straightened like my hair and it was like thin and like started getting like really short. So like now that I don't, it like grows longer and stuff like that.
All right, Mom. Wait. So yeah, bro. Here. Wait. Thanks. All right, Mom.
This is just a question.
Go ahead.
So, what do you guys think about bald hair? Would it be considered a good hairstyle or a bad hairstyle? Because I know in South Korea, because I'm Korean, and I'm also getting bald spots, and it's kind of depressing. But
Dude.
but because of that, it's kind of like a common deal for Asian people. That's why hair regrowth industry is kind of very powerful around. That's probably also explains why beauty products is number one over in
Dude,
South
bald
Korea.
is beautiful, my friend.
Yo, dude, thank you.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna grow bald, and I'm gonna be so sad about it.
You are going to go bald sooner than later, man.
We'll
That's
die,
for
though.
sure. Sooner than Mia. Yeah. But it's good. It's good. Yeah. Yo, how about in China? How about this dude right here? Be honest.
It's common
It's common.
especially for those who like IT engineering. It's also another meme.
It's
So,
Yeah, all right, go ahead.
so
Wait, is that why people go into IT engineering? You're an engineer, right? Oh, no, he's not. All right. Is it? Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
So, actually, like for girls, they don't prefer this kind of hairstyle. They rather
it.
just have the short hair,
Yeah.
but not bald hair.
Short hair. Got that, Barossa? Just get a crew cut, man. You're golden.
I'm sorry, but I don't mind.
No, it's all good. Or don't, actually. You're perfect he's perfect just as he is, right? Who else? Yes, man.
Okay, so I guess this is a question for like anybody who knows, but is the relaxer for your hair like similar to a Brazilian blowout? No? Okay.
Dude, you know that, right? Oh, wait, who knows? Who can explain that? All right, man. Here we go. Brazilian blowout. Relaxer.
With blowouts, there's no chemical. It's just a lot of excessive heat. But when you actually do like the relaxers and the perm, it's like chemically straightening your hair.
Got ya. All right. Can I say something? Yeah. You have another question? Oh, wait. Hang on. Yeah, hang on. Yeah, what? Yeah, next question.
Okay, I'm sorry, but like my understanding of a Brazilian blowout was like it was chemicals. Like,
But
is
it's
that just
not?
wrong?
Yeah.
No, like a Chinese shrimp, not as. There's like things that.
Like my sister got her hair chemically straightened.
Then
Yeah.
I think it would.
Yeah. All right, man. Dude.
Hey, everybody.
You're back.
I am back. I know.
Wait, first off, tell us about your hair.
Not a
Tell the class about your
Not
hair.
a problem. So I just want to say I am an African American woman that wears my hair in natural styles. I refuse to put heat in my hair. I refuse to do anything to conform to European standards. I'm not doing that anymore. I don't do relaxers. I'm not doing creamy crack. I'm not walking around trying to please everybody else. I'm just not. So unapologetic. That's how I am. I wear my hair in locks. They're not dreads because nothing's dreadful about my hair. It's
Wait,
locks.
hang on. Tell the class
where do you want to
go? Tell the class the difference between locks and dreads.
Okay, not a problem. So I want people to start using inclusive rhetoric and stop saying they're dreadlocks. It's not dreadlocks. They're locks. Nothing is dreadful about black people that wear their hair in locks. It's a huge movement that people are doing now, trying to get away from using the word dread and locks because nothing's
It's just
dreadful.
locks.
It's just locks.
Yeah.
So
And why, so explain why it's locks. Why do we call it locks? Where does that come from?
So locks come from saying, like, I know people, and I had to correct myself, but a lot of people started using locks just because it's more, it's not a negative connotation for people that wear their hair in dreadlocks.
But what happens to the hair?
Oh, well, yeah,
Oh,
the
it
hair
locks.
actually does locks. Yeah, so it's actually locking.
All right. Dude, okay, hey, hang on. Haley, can you move the slides ahead one?
Just hit the space bar.
Space bar.
The right, left side.
There you go. All right, so listen, man. So listen. Let me. I'm going to say this, right? So here's the deal. So, oh wait. You go ahead. I'll film. You go fix that. I'll film.
I see that.
All right. So here's what's up. So what we have is. All right, though you're on. So this dude, this guy, this only you. I don't know if many This dude Andre Walker. So he used to work for Oprah Winfrey, right? And this was really in the early '90s. And there were lots of people that developed these anthropologists and people study hair, developed different ways of determining what different hairstyles are. But this is the guy, this is the one that really sort of took off. So when you see this, like 1, 2, 3, 4, it's this dude Andre Walker, right? He did an Oprah Winfrey thing. Lots of people have added to it. But when we talk about locks, so we were talking, it's not, so we talk kinks. He used the word kinks. That was his term, but mostly we don't use that anymore because the idea is that hair isn't really kinked. You see it kind of kinked on the right on 4B, but that's actually not really I use this because this was the original one, but the hair isn't really kinked so much as it's more coiled. And so when you put it in a microscope, you see a coil. So when you talk about hair locking together, if you take a bunch of hair, you take like 4A or 3B or 3A, and you imagine putting a bunch of strands of hairs together, what it's doing is it's locking, and you're not going to be able to unlock it. It's going to be really hard. Whereas with 1B, A, B, or C, or even 2A, it's not going to lock together. It can twist together a little bit. Dude, nice. Okay, so when we talk about lock, that's what we're talking, is the hair locking. All right. Wait, so your hair is locked. So how long have you grown that hair?
I've been growing my hair for a while.
No. The issue is people don't know, right? You know, these are all the questions that people come up and ask you, like, "Hey, man."
But
okay, all right, man. Any of you have a question? Anyone else have a question? Yeah, man. All right, hang on one second, man. Yo, what's up?
Hey, Sam.
We were talking about this yesterday.
Yeah. So, I do have a question. So, who put that idea that straight hair was better, like good hair per se? Was it like your parents? Because I know for me, at least, my mom used to stress oh my God, you have to do something with your hair because it's not it. You know what I mean? So.
So my mom would never tell me to relax my hair or do any of that just to get straight hair. It was usually just for it to be manageable because hair changes over time. When I was younger, my hair used to be a lot more kinky than this. It would be tangled. Like my little sister's hair right now, matted in the middle, and then everywhere else is just all over the place. So my mom puts relaxer in it to make it manageable for her to comb through it, braid it, style it, however she wanted to. But just from my perception, I just wanted to straighten my hair because I thought it was the norm because everybody else around me had straightened hair.
Yeah, and well, it becomes whenever you live in a go ahead. Yep.
For me personally, my mom always had really, really curly hair and she never liked it. She always wanted it to be straight. So she would always do keratin, smoothing treatments or a straight perm. And it really damaged her hair. And I, growing up, would always see it and be like, why are you doing that? Why won't you just wear your hair the way that it is normally? And she would never let me do anything to my hair, chemically straighten it or anything, even if I wanted to. So I feel and now she's at a point where she's getting comfortable with her own hair and hasn't touched it or done anything to it for a while. So I don't know, I feel even if you grow up with parents not that she was telling me to ever do anything to my own hair, but just didn't like the texture and the shape of her own hair, it still made me still love my own hair and her hair too. So I don't know.
And one thing to keep in mind is that people always want something other than what they have, right?
Yeah.
I mean, why would black people go through the hassle of straightening hair? One is because, so we've been colonized by a series of ideas, but it's a similar, but also for many people, it's a similar, people with curly hair want to straighten it, and people with straightened hair want to curly it. I make it curly. But listen, so do you know the evolutionary point behind, if we go to 3 and 4 hair, evolutionarily speaking, why we have that? And let me just give you that. So listen, so look at my hair. Wait, are we up here, right? So you can't think today. You have to go back 200, 300,000 years. Okay, you got to go back through a whole process of genetic transformation over the years. And imagine we're out in the sun, and where human beings first evolved. It's hot. It's pretty arid. People aren't walking around with baseball caps. They're not walking around with protection. They're going to spend a lot of time in the sun. You can't spend too much time in the sun letting your head get really hot. You get heat stroke, right? The heat stroke is really incredibly dangerous. So the hair, the body, does this amazing thing, right? Like on one, it'll produce melanin that helps to protect us from ultraviolet rays of the sun and getting skin cancer. But also the hair does this thing where it coils up. And the more coily it is, so the more you go down to 4A, 4B, 4C, which we added another C, the more it sticks up. Like your hair is sticking really, and that means when the sun hits your head, it hits the outside of your hair. When the sun hits my head, it hits the scalp. And even if I had the three of you sitting in the front, even if you have thick hair, right, you want thick hair because that's going to protect you from the sun a little bit, but the sun's still going to hit your scalp, but it's not going to hit your scalp. And so the hair, the more coily it is and the more it sticks up, the more we get a natural protection from the really intense heat. And also, when your hair gets wet, how long does it take to dry? Talking about that.
Okay. So it kind of just got dry like an hour ago.
When did it get wet?
At 8 o'clock in the morning.
8 o'clock in the morning, and it just got dry about an hour ago. Okay. Yeah. Whereas, bro, the Korean dude who's starting to bald, how long does it take your hair to dry? Like 2 minutes? Yeah, all right. Yeah, got it. It doesn't even get wet. It just like peels off. So this is also, so look, in a really hot environment, you have a natural protection from the sun. I mean, from the heat, you're going to retain moisture. It's going to keep your head cool. It's going to do all the kinds of things that we want our hair to do for us, to protect us. Yep. Wait. Damn dog.
Since you were talking about drying time, I personally get like Brazilian blowouts and keratin, and that's only because like when it's like slightly humid outside, like even the slightest bit, like my hair gets super like frizzy, and I don't like dealing with it.
Yeah.
And I get keratin because it cuts my blow dry time in half, which is really convenient. So
for you, it's a good thing.
That's why, yeah.
Yep. All right, Mel. Hey, let me. I want to actually do one other piece here. Do you have anything else? Are we good?
I was just gonna say, because you were talking about how like our hair is like the way the sun touches our scalp or whatever. I was just gonna say like Caucasian hair is longer and straighter because dating back to when Neanderthals or whatever, like the hair needed to be straight to cover the neck because it was too cold.
Yeah,
and our hair grew upwards because.
Yeah, that's probably not the case.
That's not?
People used to think that,
Mm-hmm.
and that was an idea, it was a hypothesis about many things. That was one of many.
Yeah.
But at this point in time, we're thinking that's really not the case, that it really is, that as people went to more colder climates, it just allowed, hang on. What the thinking is, it allowed people to have straight hair and allow that to be not really an advantage, but it allowed the body to really tolerate and to pass that on, and then more and more, just sort of it allowed straight hair to just become more of a dominant thing, and then it became, as many things are sexually appealing, and people desired something that was different, and so we just see it. So, which what we see in the different climates, we watch hair go from really tight coils to like 2 hair to like 3 to 2, and then to 1 as people go north.
Okay.
So we don't think there's really a reason for it specifically to get straight, although that used to be the theory. Yep. Does anybody have another? You have a question? Yes, ma'am.
I just wanted to say, in response to the Brazilian blowout thing, so A Brazilian blowout, it is a chemical, like it is a keratin treatment. It's just when you do a Brazilian blowout, you're putting something on top of the hair, and then you are blowing it out so that it's straight, and then you let it dry. And since keratin is hard, it will like dry so that the hair dries in that straight position. What a relaxer and a perm is that it's a chemical that actually penetrates the hair and breaks the chemical bonds and literally reforms them, which is why relaxers are so much more damaging than Brazilian blowouts. They're both damaging in a little bit, but Brazilian blowouts are only on the outside of the hair, and relaxers are more fundamentally damaging, which is why it's a bigger deal in the black community, because like the damage on your hair lasts for much longer, and it's much more prevalent because it's literally reforming the bonds inside the hair.
So, okay, so, all right, so I have a question. Who has bad hair? Who just has bad hair? No, besides you, dude. No. Who's a person, either of African or any, who has bad hair? Who would say that, yeah, I got really bad hair, and tell us why you have bad hair? No, bro, you have no hair, right? So you would say you have bad hair. So tell us what makes your hair bad. And it's bad with quotes around it, right?
Yeah. So usually when I say I have bad hair, my hair is just like you see it's like an afro, but usually it gets like very dry very quickly, like brittle, not like it takes like 3 to 5 business days for my hair to dry to my scalp.
And then what do you put on it when it's dry?
Like what do you mean? Do you mean like creams and stuff like that?
Yeah. So you put creams on it.
Yeah, I usually put like creams on. There's like I follow a lot of like black natural like pages on Instagram, and you use like a lock method. You use liquid, oil, cream.
Yep.
So you like do it in that order. But my hair is like very dry, and it's like hard to manage.
So your hair, you would say your hair is hard to manage.
Yeah.
What do you mean by manage? How are you trying to manage it?
It's
hang on. So, what's your name?
Jalen.
Jalen. Mm-hmm. So look at Jalen's hair. Get a close up of Jalen's hair. All right. So you're trying to manage your hair. What do you mean manage it?
Well, like when I say manage, I mean like there's like certain things that I look for in hair, and I'm like usually looking for like definition. So like having the curls out versus like it just being like an afro. And I like afros, but like after a while, it does get tiring just wearing an afro day in and day out.
And then continuing to pick it out. And
continuing to pick it out, and I feel like I'm losing hair like based
constantly,
on how yeah. So I try to like make my curls more defined. And to do that, I use like a lot of gel, and I like brush it out.
Yep.
Which takes a while, so it's time consuming.
So when you as a white woman look at her hair, do you have any idea what she does to take care of her hair? You have no idea? Yeah. I mean, I don't. Do you know what she does to take care of her hair?
No.
Really? How do you take care? Hang on. Tell Jalen. What's your name?
Lauren.
Tell Jalen. Lauren, you tell Jalen what you do to manage your hair.
I literally wash it and condition it, and then I just let it air dry. That's all that I do.
Dude, awesome, isn't it? It's great to be white. All right. No, that's it?
That's it. Yeah,
wait, what are you laughing about? Why are you laughing?
Oh, because it's just funny to me how you can like just... In the morning, like I have 8 a.m. classes, so it's just funny to see like a bunch of like white girls walking around me and their hair is just still like wet. But like I could never walk out the house like that, because by like 1 p.m. my hair would be like very like matted, and like I can't like pull my hand through it. But you guys is just like
it's matted. Why is it matted?
It's matted because when my hair gets wet, it gets very like tight.
Yep.
So versus like I forgot what your name was up there, the black one.
Me?
No. Yeah.
Mia.
Yeah. What was your name again?
Mia.
Oh, Mia. Sorry.
Mia.
So like I like that hair. Like I heard you say earlier, you were saying, oh, like black girls say like, oh, I like your hair. Like I want that hair, because that hair is like very desirable. Like when I wasn't like always natural. Like I would always get my hair straightened out. I even like bleached and dyed my hair at some point, and that's like very damaging for your hair. So I went natural about like 2 years ago. So it's like, like going clean.
Yeah, exactly.
So
listen. So check this out. So go. The woman is on the end, right? So just stand up. So Are you straightening your hair? Like, what's your natural hair? Yeah, because I can't tell where you're from.
My natural hair looks kind of like hers. This is a wig.
Got you. Okay.
Yeah.
So I can't. Okay. So listen. So here's the idea behind the California and New York laws. It's basically saying Jalen. So here, put the camera. So think about Jalen's hair. If she just does her hair natural, like your hair, you just get in the shower. You've dyed it, right? But have you colored your hair? Really? That's your natural color?
No, it's been like 6 months.
Oh, 6 months? Okay, got it. But so your natural thing is you shampoo, you get out of the shower, you comb it, you're good to go. Your natural thing is you do the same thing, and it looks, so now we see how your hair can start to look, and then imagine your employer coming along saying, yo, that's not cool at all. You need to do something about your hair. You need to straighten it. You need to do whatever it is, right?
Yeah, and like that's damaging for my hair. Like that's not the natural way my hair is, and it's hard to get it that way in the first place.
Yeah, totally. Hey, who has, just one final thing, man. One final thing. Who has extensions? Who, can you just tell the class really fast? Just say what extensions are and what we're looking at. What's that? Braids? All right, go ahead, man. Because a lot of people in class are going to look at you. There are people who are going to think like that's your hair.
Okay, what do you want me to talk about?
What is it, man? Dude, here, hang on a second. There are people in class who are going to look at you and think, wait, do you got it? Can you stand up really fast so the cameras can catch you? Bro, are going to look at you and think that's your hair.
Oh, no, this is not my hair. Not at all. This is braids. But
hold
it's
it
not
close.
Technically extensions, because more extensions is used for like weave. This is more like extensions for like braids. Technically, it's used for like a protective style mostly. It lasts longer than actual weave, so that's why girls like me use that.
And how long did it take to do that?
It depends on how thick your hair is. My hair, I have a 4B and 4C, which you don't have up there. You should have 4C as well.
Well, no, this is the original one.
Dude,
hang
I'm
on.
just saying.
The guy that did this,
but I'm just
he
saying.
didn't do 4C. So therefore, I said I want to show you the original one.
We don't get represented like that, even on
4Cs
YouTube.
don't?
Yes, we don't get represented like
Man,
that.
you got to talk to Oprah Winfrey about that, man.
Well, you can find different sites.
All right, go ahead.
And put 4C, but anyways. But we like 4C or 4B, my texture is thicker.
Yeah.
So it's harder for so this took me like 4 or 6 hours.
4 to 6 hours.
But like somebody I don't know her name.
Yeah.
What's her name?
Mia.
That girl, Mia. It will take like 2 to 3 hours because her hair is not as thick as mine.
Got you.
So.
All right, dog.
I'm just saying. You should have
All
4C up though.
Dude, I'll put 4C up there just for you.
Yes, you should.
Man.
You
Next
definitely
time.
should.
All right, man. Hey, listen, thanks. Hey, thanks, y'all, for coming up front.